What if you're actually being used by old emotions from the old self because it's a system and structure that is just comfortable and familiar? And instead of channeling the same old emotions, which bring you the same old experiences, you can actually utilize emotions consciously, in like meditation, for instance, and completely transform your experiences of life. When I first started meditating back in 2017, I believe it was, every single day, consistently, I started to notice something. I started to notice that throughout my entire life, I've allowed myself to be used by what I would consider to be lower energy emotions. Emotions like fear, emotions like guilt, emotions like um, shame, all of these lower energy emotions, right? And it wasn't until I started sitting down in meditation and realizing that I could actually consciously utilize elevated emotions, emotions like euphoria, emotions like ecstasy, emotions like joy, love, right? That I started to realize that, oh, wait a second. I am being used by these comfortable and familiar emotions that I don't need to continue living out, that I don't need to continue allowing to be there consistently, because what we feel consistently is what we attract, you know? If we feel shame consistently, we're going to attract experiences in life that enliven those emotions. I feel like enliven's not the best word to use for that. We're going to attract experiences in life that reinforce, right, that reinforce those emotions back in us over and over and over again. And so I think that this is fascinating because actually a majority of my life before that was very much on the basis of these lower energy emotions of like fear, anxiety, worry, depression, shame, guilt, right? Like literally like waking up on a daily basis with that stuff, right? um and it's just so fascinating because when I started to do these meditations where I was actually channeling like way higher elevated emotions. Like there are times that I sit in meditation and I just open my heart up and I feel gratitude. And it's wild because like I feel different, right? I feel different as a result of that. It completely transforms my own experiences of life. So what if you are actually unconsciously being used by familiar emotions just because you're repeating a pattern, just because it's on autopilot, just because that's what you are choosing, even though you don't realize that you're choosing it because it's just comfortable and familiar, because it's, on autopilot. This is something that I started to realize about myself. I started to realize that, oh, wow, I've just been feeling all of these emotions because they're comfortable and familiar, right? Um, I don't have to continue feeling them. I can instead choose to sit down in meditation and feel differently, right? And that's the thing that's so fascinating about being a human and, these experiences of life is that we can change what it is that we're experiencing on a daily basis. We just have to wire it in, right? And something I've been doing recently actually is I've been doing like gratitude meditations, right? Just like focusing on what it is in my life that I'm grateful for. And it's been really transformative. But then I noticed that I attract more of that in reality, and then I have more to be grateful for, right? So it's like I'm grateful for certain things, right? Say for instance, interactions with people, interactions that I love, like incredible experiences with people. I go into meditation, I practice gratitude for those experiences, and I'm focusing on them, right? And then when I practice the gratitude, I find them popping up in my life more and more. And it's such a wonderful experience. It really is. It's so cool to see how like it unfold. Like this is an example of reality mirroring to me who I'm being, right? So if I were to say I want really incredible experiences with people, right? What reality would do to that is it would be like, okay, you want really incredible experiences with people. It doesn't mean it's giving it to you. It just means that it's saying, okay, that's what you want. Okay, that's what you want. Okay, that's what you want. But until you actually go in and recognize them as already real in your life, right? Like that's the reality. Like I'm realizing now that life responds to you as in present moment, right? So it's like if you want it, it means that you lack it. It means that you don't have it. If you feel as though you already have it, life responds that way. It responds presently. And that's what I started to realize because like it's like, well, no wonder I'm attracting or no wonder I was attracting these experiences earlier on where I was feeling in terms of lack. I was feeling separation anxiety. I don't mean separation anxiety. I mean like separation, comma anxiety. Um, I was feeling fear, shame, guilt, all of that stuff. Right. That was the reality that I was in because I was feeling that. I was an equal match to that. Right. So I was waking up on a daily basis, experiencing that over and over and over and over and over again. And it wasn't until I became aware of it that I was like, wait a second. Stop. And that's when I really started to like transform my inner world and stuff and start to generate these more elevated emotions. Don't get me wrong, listen, trauma has its place, and that stuff, in my honest opinion, needs to be worked through. It does. But every moment we're also a new version of ourselves, every single moment. And I don't believe that this is just like an everyday thing. I believe that this is an every moment. It might not always be easy to choose something different every moment, but it's possible. You can choose how you are, you can choose how you respond, you can choose how you react, right? And so it's like we're constantly wiring in who we are for ourselves. And I just chose to wire in something even more profound, right? On a moment to moment basis, just on a day to day basis as well with the meditations, right? Sitting in meditation, me being grateful for this experience right now. Just being grateful, just expressing gratitude. Oh my God, this is amazing. This is incredible. I get the opportunity to record a video, right? I don't care that I'm doing it on my iPhone. I am. This is recorded on my iPhone. I get a nice mic right here to get some pretty quality audio into, right? And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful, and I feel it too. It feels wonderful. It feels incredible to be able to add value. I'm doing this because I enjoy it. And that's the other thing too. Let me make this very clear. Actually, this is a wonderful thing to end off on. Throughout my entire life, I haven't done things for the enjoyment of it. I've done it as a means to an end, right? I've done things to get things. And this has usually been rooted in codependency because I thought that that's the way that I was supposed to live life. I thought that I was supposed to do things to get things. At this point in my life, I'm much more on the side of doing things for the enjoyment, right? Doing it for an end in itself. And that has a lot to do with what I do here, right? In these videos. I do this because I enjoy it. I have been through a lot. I've experienced a lot in my life, and for me to be able to share my experiences, storytell, add value to people's lives through that, it's awesome. It really is. It's such a cool experience, and I'm grateful for that. And my recognition of that, my conscious awareness recognition of that is what opens my heart with gratitude. And it's like, oh, this is really cool, you know. And I could even go into the whole thing of like, I remember years ago when I wanted to be where I am now. Well, you know what? Cool. I'm here and I'm grateful. This is the present moment. It's beautiful. And not only that, but there's just so much more power in my recognition of being present to the moment and just enjoying. Just enjoying. There were days when I woke up in paralyzing anxiety and depression. And that's not here anymore. That's not here. I got a little bit more sleep last night than I normally do, which was interesting, and I woke up actually later than I wanted to, but it's fine. I'm grateful to be here. It's such a cool experience of life. So you can transform your life just by recognizing that you've been allowing yourself to feel the same old familiar emotions like anxiety, fear. I would say that depression is far more an experience rather than an emotional state, but it's also an emotion. Um, yeah, shame, guilt, all the same things that keep you trapped in the same experiences, right? You can change it all just by wiring in new emotional experiences on a daily basis in meditation. And that's what the message of this video is. You can. It requires work, just like everything else does, right? It requires feeling differently. It requires going into meditation and wiring in a new identity. It also requires working through trauma of the past. It does. Um, that stuff doesn't just go away. You can't just sweep it under the carpet, from what I have learned and understand. That's the reality of it. But yeah,